What's going on, guys? Support for today's program is brought to you by Manscaped, the Lawnmower 4.0 and Ultra Smooth package, and they really nailed it this time. So I was using a different trimmer a little while ago, and there was always one area I'd get caught up on and pulling on the hair and bleeding and everything, and it was driving me crazy. I could always have to like baby my way around it. But a couple months ago, I started using the Lawnmower 4.0. I've had no issues. I breezed right through that area. And there's no more cuts, no more nicks, no more bruises. So everything's going really good. Guys, as bodybuilders, we're hairy as hell, and we always got to keep everything in check. And the least you can do is keep your junk in check for the misses. So listen, go to manscaped.com and use code RBP, or go to manscaped.com/RBP and get the 20% off plus free shipping. Guys, the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped has taken off across the globe. Not only in the US, also in Canada, the UK, Australia, and many other countries. Inside the package, you'll get the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer. You guys know you got to keep your ears and nose clean. You'll also get the Crop Preserver ball deodorant and the Crop Reviver toner, Manscaped boxer briefs, and a travel bag, which I love. I think it's leather. It feels actually really good. And it's pretty big, so you can fit all your stuff in there. So listen, guys, go to manscaped.com, use code RBP, get 20% off plus free shipping. Or go to manscaped.com/RBP and get the 20% off plus free shipping. Enjoy it. I know it's going to help you guys out. It helps me. Thanks for watching, guys. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. This is episode number 124, and I am with my man, Vito. What's up, brother?
What?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
What's going on?
Not much, man. Hey, Vito, what's your last name, brother?
Carfagnolio.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce it, or else I would have told everybody at the start.
It's Calabrese.
Okay. How are you, man? How I've been seeing your ads come up.
Is Abiad, that's short for what? Abiadio? That's Italian. It got shortened when you came through?
Yeah. When we I was born in Canada, so my parents cut the Italian part off.
I don't know what Canada is.
Where are you at right now? What is this like? Is this your basement apartment, or what are you doing here?
We should probably not discuss the particulars of my location.
Oh, okay. So I've been seeing your ads come up about your supplement company. How's your supplement company doing?
Strong, very strong.
Yeah.
We got a lot of new products in the works. I've actually been reviewing some of your products.
Really?
Yeah, but when we get old, by the time we do our assessment, we'll be putting out the improved version of your products.
Okay. What's that look like? What's that look like, man? What's the improved version? Is it like a better label? Is it just you just copy it exactly? Like, what is it?
Yeah, well, we see you've got 25 milligrams of something. We put 30.
Oh, I see. That's how it works.
I just print new labels.
I see.
Little tune up, little sprinkle.
How long have you been involved in the bodybuilding industry?
About 6 months.
Yeah, so you got some good experience.
Yeah.
What do you think of all the guys doing the Arnolds? Do you think it's a good competition or what?
They're okay. They could use some work.
Yeah. Are you planning on competing one day? Are you planning on, like, you just started 6 months ago, so are you planning on being a pro? Like, what's the deal with you?
I don't look like a pro to you.
Wow. I can't tell. You're wearing a jacket. I mean, you might be.
You want me to take this off?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what's under there. Let's see.
I'm not taking it off.
No, you're not going to do that. So the Arnold's
guy like you, I'd probably make you feel bad.
Yeah. Well, I've been at it for a little while, so you're probably still fresh.
You look okay. You've made some progress. You could probably use a little more work.
Maybe you can get me on a good cycle. Do you guys do that at your company too? You take care of like both sides of things?
Fouad, we do everything. You come down, you see me, I'll take care of you.
Okay. The Arnold's is coming up this weekend. You said the guys need a little work. Do you have? I want to know what Vito's predictions are like. Do you have a favorite for the show?
My nephew, he's really into this stuff.
Yeah.
You might know him. His name's Evan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know Evan. We're actually good friends.
He's a little goofy.
can be a little goofy.
He's probably better for this discussion than me. Let me go get him.
Okay, go get Evan. Come back. Go get Evan. Come back.
Dude, you didn't get stuck talking to my uncle, did you?
Your uncle's awesome, man. He's a character. He's a character, dude.
Dude, he's brutal.
Dude, how have you been, man? What's going on?
I'm good. What's new?
I had no idea you had that in you. Everybody thinks
everybody's got a little Vito in them.
No, everybody might have a little Vito in them, but I didn't know. I don't know. Evan's always from the outside in, Evan is always like the dad. Everyone's dad. Evan is everyone's dad. So I had no idea you had the acting chops to pull it off.
I mean, I think I'm probably pretty serious by nature. Like, I just take things seriously, like I take things to heart. If I approach things, I usually approach them pretty seriously, but yeah, I mean, I like to have fun too. I mean, there's things that I find funny, but yeah, I mean, I guess generally I'm more of a serious guy, I guess.
Who wrote
like I look at my dad, right?
Yeah.
Like, my dad is a serious dude. Like,
yeah.
I was just talking the other day with a buddy of mine who's he's in his late 40s. He's got a really successful plumbing company, and he's every bit, let's just say, a grown man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And big dude, really good bodybuilder. And he'll joke around. He'll be like, man, because he knows my father.
Yeah.
He's been around for family functions, stuff like that. He's like, man, I just don't want to say the wrong thing around your dad. He's like, he gives you that look, just that look, and he kind of scares you.
Yeah.
But dude, I've had friends since high school who I'd be like, yo, dude, just come over. And they'd be like, is your dad going to be there? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's going to be here. Yeah. It's fine. Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he makes, I don't know what to think. Does he fucking want to kill me? Does he hate me? I'm like, no, he doesn't care about you at all, actually. Like, yo, he just looks at me sometimes and I just feel like he wants to murder me. So yeah. I think, like, I grew up with a dad who's really serious. So I just tend to be more serious.
Do you think that thing that your dad has, because my dad was the same way, do you think that comes with age, or do you think it's just that generation?
Oh, I think my dad was always a serious dude.
Yeah.
I mean, because I remember my dad when I was like maybe 5 or something. I can remember pretty far back.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like my dad's a stiff dude or anything. Like, he likes to have, he's actually very, very funny. He has a great sense of humor, maybe a little more on the dry side, but he's very intelligent, very clever, and like really pretty witty. But he's always been more of a serious dude. Like a lot of things I think that maybe easily entertain a lot of people. Yeah. Like, there's like, I might look at a video of something. I'd be like, ha, that's funny. And I'd be like, Dad, check this out. And he'd just look at me, like and I'm like, oh, yeah. Fuck, why'd I show him that? And then now I feel stupid.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not easily amused. Like, I don't know. He's just a serious dude.
Is your dad easily impressed?
Fuck no.
Yeah, right.
I remember this was 2009, okay?
Yeah.
And I just won the New York Pro, meaning like 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So we're backstage, me and my dad. We go backstage with Steve Weinberger to, like, I don't know, we had to sign a couple things, maybe for the check, get the ring, all that stuff. And I remember Steve being like, what's, like, to my dad, like, what's with you? Like, you don't seem happy.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I'm happy. And he's like, Steve's like, your son just won the New York Pro. Smile, man.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, I'm happy.
Yeah,
So,
but that's that generation.
I think it's maybe it's a generational thing. And at the time, right, 2009, I'm still living home in his house. So like, I fucking killed myself for that show. Like literally thought like maybe I might die.
Yeah.
Like was, driving to Brooklyn 5 days a week.
Yeah, you were training with Oscar back then, weren't you?
Dude, it was horrible.
That's right.
Like I never felt worse in my life. So like I really and plus, aside from just all the physical strain and stress of that prep, like mentally, because it was my first show as a pro.
Yeah.
So you have all these people being like, he sucks, he's gonna get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
He's just hype. Once he gets on stage with the big boys, they're gonna beat his ass. So and at the time too, like Muscular Development didn't renew my contract, I think because they thought I was gonna bomb in New York.
Yeah.
So there was all this like professional stress on top of the fact that you feel like a bag of wet shit.
Yeah.
So, and my dad witnessed all that. So you would think too, like maybe he would have like seen it and been like, oh man, like maybe even share. Because when I won that show, a lot of it, aside from like happiness, a lot of it was just relief.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Like I just felt, you know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like the weight of the world had been lifted off my shoulders.
It's like you can breathe all of a sudden.
Dude, man, you feel like you're being suffocated.
Yeah.
And so you feel like you can finally breathe. But yeah, man, and I know him well enough to know that he was excited and he was proud, but he's not the type of dude that's gonna be like, come on, give me a hug. Like it's not like that.
I think my dad had like 10 conversations with me my entire life. He was the guy that like went to work and came home. He was a welder. He would come in the door. He'd have holes in his fucking wife beater from sparks flying on him and shit. And he would eat his dinner and watch his TV quietly and fucking go to bed. And it was like
serious dude.
Yeah, man, serious dude. But so my oldest brother kind of took over the role a little bit. And the reason I'm asking about him being impressed is, did you ever feel like you couldn't do enough to impress him? Or do you feel like the way he was is the reason why you're so successful? Because you're always pushing to get more.
Yeah, look, man, I don't really give a shit about approval from really anybody, but that's one person I want approval from is my father. Yes, that's important to me. Like I'm not on board, with a lot of people are like, I don't care. I don't need anybody's approval. And I think they feel that way even like about their own parents.
Yeah.
Like growing up, they reached a point where I didn't have a very good relationship with my mother. But my father and I always had a very strong relationship. And man, like that's one dude whose opinion of me matters. Mm-hmm. That's somebody who I want his respect and I want his I don't know if admiration is the right word. I'm not like say my father admires me, but his something.
Did you ever get the pat on the back from him that you wanted?
Well, it's funny because I would hear it from other people. They'd be like, hey, I saw your dad. He had this picture, or he had a magazine of you, and he was telling all about this stuff about how you're doing. And I'm like, he did?
Yeah.
He didn't say any of that to me.
That's so crazy. I know that fucking feeling exactly. My oldest brother's like that. If like when it comes to me, it's like I never get the pat on the back. It's just the way he is. It's like he's always driving you to do more, push harder, work harder. And but same thing. I'll hear like his buddy will be like, "Yeah, your brother was showing me your photo on his phone," and this, and I'm like, just say that shit to me once, just like one time, like, yeah.
It's not like it's not like I ever was getting ready for a competition and my dad was like, "Wow, you look good." Like, I don't think so. Maybe it did. I just don't remember, but I don't think so. But that's fine. Like, that's fine because I know that if I was ever like down or I was like, if I went to him and I talked to him and I was like, I'm getting my ass beat. I'm not too sure about this or sure about that. I know he'd be the first one to be like, "Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're fine. You're good. You're gonna crush all those guys, or you're gonna, you got it. Don't worry." You're going to do just fine. Like, I know those would be the first thing out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's one thing I think you learn as you go through life. Like, there's people, you know it better than anybody. You have fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's great. It's great having fans, and just the very thought that people think enough of you to follow you, or
Yeah.
follow the things you put out, or offer you words of encouragement, compliments, things like that. And that's all great.
Yeah.
But you know that when the shit hits the fan, like your dad might not be the guy he might not be he's not your fucking cheerleader, and he's not your fan. But when the shit hits the fan, he's the one who's got your back, no questions asked. So really, that's what's important,
I feel like that generation, and not to belabor the point, but I feel like that generation is more of an even keel support. There's no super highs, and there's no super, they kind of keep you in that just keep working.
Well, I think it's more real.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of superficial applauding and, wow, you're great. It's not a lot of that. I'll cover your ass if you need me to.
Yeah. The reason I kind of went down this road is I know you have kids, and do you have one daughter, or two? Do you have two or one?
Two daughters.
Two daughters.
Two daughters.
How old's the second daughter now?
The second one is 4. The first one is 10.
Wow. Good
Time flies, dude.
Yeah. 10 already. Oh my God. I think I remember you and Branch on the bus at one of the Arnolds talking about what it was like for them to be like 1, and finally being able to like get a response from them. I think I remember that conversation.
That was literally that was like last weekend.
Yeah. So the reason I went down that road is I want to ask, as a father, do you have that same mentality, or because we grew up in a different generation, are you more, I don't know, more relatable, more applauding?
Well, it's tough to compare because I have 2 girls, right? And it's funny because prior to having, my first daughter, I think most guys probably in their mind, they're like, I hope it's a boy.
Yeah.
Don't care either way, obviously, so long as the child is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of guys, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone else, but I always felt like, well, if it's a boy, I have more to offer a boy. Like a girl, how much am I going to be able to relate to her? How much will I be able to do for her? But then you realize that is not true at all. And you realize how awesome it is having a daughter, and you're like hyper aware of the fact that if you had a boy, you probably wouldn't be the way with that boy that you are with a girl. Meaning with a girl, you can be you're a lot more affectionate. You're a lot softer toward a girl. A girl probably a lot more sensitive.
Yeah.
It's a boy, you can't be that way with a boy. If a girl is like upset, you're going to take the time and say, what's the matter? Are you okay? Tell me about it, blah, blah, blah. When it's a boy, maybe a little bit of that to some extent, but the bottom line is going to have to be, listen, dude, cut the crap, keep moving. You can't, it's just the way it is.
So you'd probably be more like your dad if you had a boy, because you'd probably teach him to be a little bit rougher and a little bit. Yeah.
That's the point. You're raising, you have to raise a man. Now, listen, I'm not thinking, okay, I'm raising girls to just be taken care of by some guy. No, I want my daughters capable and independent, and self-sufficient and all those things. So, in order to do that, you still have to have a certain degree of sternness, and, you can't just totally baby them and forgive everything and turn them into brats.
Yeah.
But with a boy, I just think there's a lot more, and, maybe somebody would say I'm wrong, or maybe the new way of thinking would say, well, why would you be any different toward a boy than you are toward a girl? Well, I think boys are different than girls. They just are.
Yeah. I think one of the main things you said was sensitivity. I think there has to be, even if you're raising, like my sister is a strong, independent businesswoman. Like she's very well put together and takes care of business. Right. But she's still sensitive, and my parents still treated her. She was almost on a pedestal compared to 4 boys that were there, right? Like
Right.
she had her own room. We all slept in one room together. Right. So it's like, I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. There's just a different standard, even though you're still trying to raise a strong woman, it's still a different standard.
Still different. And
Yeah.
you know, with a boy, it's not like I would ignore, you know, if there was something wrong, or,
Yeah.
you know, there's nothing wrong with a guy having a certain amount of sensitivity.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, look at the way it is. You're a guy, maybe now more than ever. Everything's your fault. You're to blame for everything, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
yeah, you better have thick skin, and you better fucking be tough, because
Yeah.
you're going to be blamed for everything.
That's true. That's true. So a little bit about you, dude. We haven't talked in a long time, and the last time we spoke at length, you were getting ready for a contest, and then the contest, because of the pandemic, got moved to Tampa. New York got moved to Tampa, and you wanted to compete in front of your hometown, obviously, which makes sense. So then that got canceled, put on hold. And is there anything in the future? Like, is Evan still competing ever?
I mean, I'm not ruling it out. It just hasn't been. I don't know. There's, you know, New York is still not in New York.
Yeah.
I don't know. It hasn't been the first thing on my mind. You know, I'm feeling a little bit beat up, if we're being honest.
In what way? In what way? Like physically?
Dude, you know, I think I've got a torn labrum in my hip.
I think that's what is that what Roman just had replaced? I know he had his hip replaced, but I don't know if it's,
he had a full-on hip replacement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't. It's been almost a year now, and at one point, dude, for like 3 or 4 months, like I couldn't even walk right. Like I was like walking with a limp. It was so bad. Like if it was Tuesday afternoon and I'm like, fuck, the garbage has to go out. You know, I don't even want to take it out. Like I don't even want to walk. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
And it's way better than that now. To be totally honest, I've been lucky to have a couple people reach out to me. You know Charles Lothian?
Yes.
Australian
The
photographer.
photographer.
Yeah. Charles and I talk often. He's a great dude. And we were actually talking about it. And there's another Australian, I believe he's a doctor. His name's Andrew Locke.
Okay.
And we touched base, but I have yet to follow up and send him. You know, he wanted a couple videos of me performing some movements and showing stuff, because he was like, honestly, dude, he's like, I think I can help you.
Okay.
And the more you read about the injury, you know, like labral tears and stuff, you know, half of it is, well, you have to get surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other half is like, well, I was told I needed surgery, but I did certain exercises and I strengthened certain things and I changed this and I changed that, and I'm totally fine now.
Okay.
And to really just kind of blame myself, I just haven't probably done what I should be doing to try to improve upon it.
Do you think, and I've experienced this myself, and that's why I'm asking, do you think the longer you're away from the sport, the harder it is to get that fire back? Or before you answer, or do you think it's more that because you can't perform the way you used to, it's not as exciting for you?
Well, that's very much a part of it. You know, you know better than anybody how hard you have to train in order to be at your best.
Yeah.
In order to be, you know, in contention, to be a contender, to be competitive. In the worst feeling for a bodybuilder, competing is stressful, right? It puts a lot of weight on your shoulders. If you're a good bodybuilder, competing is stressful because you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And as you know, the better you become, the more success you have, the higher the level you compete at, the greater that pressure becomes. And the only thing that gives you peace of mind when you're headed into a competition, because dude, you know how it is. You're facing some really great bodybuilders at that level. Everyone is incredible.
Yeah.
And the only thing that gives you any kind of peace of mind or any sanity is your training. And when I say your training, I mean knowing, okay, I broke my ass that session. And every day you're like, okay, I didn't deviate from the diet, and I pushed myself as far as I possibly could in the gym. And that's the only way you maintain any kind of confidence or any sanity throughout the process. So, you know, we've been doing this long enough where a diet is not a problem.
Yeah.
But training, especially once you start racking up some injuries and you know your body's taking some abuse from, I mean, look, by this time, you know, we're approaching 40, been training hard.
I'm past 40.
You are how old?
43. Actually, 43 in like 3 weeks.
So you got more than 20 years of consistent hard training in the bucket.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a lot of fucking beatings, man.
It's a lot of squats.
That's a lot of weight moved. You really you put a lot of wear and tear on your body. And yeah, training is hard enough. Training hard is hard enough. As you get older and you've been doing this long enough, you realize that training is not the hard part. The hard part is having the ability to train hard, meaning, you don't have injuries and things holding you back. You'd give anything to step into a squat rack, and the only pain you feel being the pain of the squats, not just squatting. You get up in the morning and you drop something, you're like, oh fuck,
dude. So I think it was, so we have this employee that works for us. He just started, and he's like 28 or 29, I think. I don't remember. He's strong as fuck. Okay. He's not like, he's a good bodybuilder. Like, he's still an amateur. He's coming up, but he's strong. He's strong as like anything. Right. So he's doing like 10 plates on the hack squat, and it's a little bit, it's still a lot of weight, but it's a little bit lighter hack squat, but it's still a lot of weight. So I'm like, I'm feeling it, right? Because I'm older, and I'm like, my knees hurt.
You're watching them, and you're like picturing your kneecaps like flying off. Like,
no, but there's the ego side of me also. That's like, I can't. This guy works for me, man. I got to keep up, right? So I'm like, so this is what happened. So this has been going on for like 2 months. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go at it. So I go in there for legs, and I remember John told me this a long time ago, right? John said to me one day, he's like, I could still squat 500. But I won't walk for 3 weeks. And it didn't register like what that actually meant until this session. So I go in, I get up to 8 plates, and it's the most I've done on this hack squat. Feeling really proud of myself, right? I'm like, I got to crush that workout. I feel great. Next day I wake up, and since that workout, which was probably 3 weeks ago now, my knees have been a disaster. And I'm like, and I think that's like kind of going to the point that you're making, which is, I would give anything to get in there and just feel pain of the muscle. It's like,
I'd gladly go and puke my brains out in the corner because I pushed myself so hard. Like, that's nothing.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that being away okay, well, you've touched on the injury side of it, and it not being exciting because that's kind of holding you back a little bit. But is being away and living normal life, like maybe looking for careers or extending your bodybuilding career in a way, or being with the family and just kind of being off the stage and not having that pressure, has that made it harder to jump into the fire?
I mean, you got to keep in mind, like, I never loved competing. I like getting on stage was never my thing. It was more of like a formality, like, okay, I'm making progress, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, let's whittle it down and see what it amounts to. Like, this is exciting to see what this, is going to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'll ever be normal in the sense that, like, you know how it is, you've been doing this so long.
Yeah. Like,
I don't know if I would know how to eat 3 meals a day, or like not train like as hard as I can, or like, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could live with myself. It's just built in at this point. So, but in terms of competing, I mean, I don't know about you. For me, a lot changed when I had my first daughter.
Yeah.
And there was a lot going on in my life because there was the birth of her. And at the same time, like maybe 3 months after she was born, my father was diagnosed with cancer. So it was kind of a heavy time. There was a lot going on. That was 2011, and I had like my best showing ever at the Flex.
Yeah.
So I'm like doing really well, and then boom, like my daughter's born. My father, there's the realization that he has cancer, and like it's not a good prognosis. And I don't think, to be honest, like I'd love to sit here and be like, yeah, but I'm just such a machine and I'm just such a great bodybuilder that like none of that affected me. I was just so focused that I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I think if that was the case, I'd probably be a huge asshole. To have a new life come into being, and at the same time be hyper aware of my father's mortality. A guy who was only in his late 50s. So I don't know, it hit me a lot, and it made me start thinking about a lot of things, especially, things you do as a pro bodybuilder.
Mm-hmm.
Not only about that, okay, things maybe I'm doing to my body or what I'm putting myself through. Because I look at my dad and I say, okay, well, here's a guy who, okay, maybe he never worked out or he didn't really watch what he ate, but he didn't do anything bad either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, he never drank, he never smoked, and he sure as hell never tempted fate with any kind of, extracurricular shit, let's call it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you're like, geez, this dude's getting his lung cut out. And, the doctor's saying, maybe he has at best 5 years. So, I think unless you're a fucking moron, you start thinking about things.
Yeah.
I want to be here for my daughter. I'm also hyper aware of, maybe I haven't done this. Maybe there's certain things I've done that have maybe been really healthy and they've been really great, but there's also some shit I've done where I haven't done myself any favors either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You think about that, and little by little, I think you look at things differently. I'd like to think maybe you grow up a little, and I don't know. It affects you. It affects you. Maybe not that I don't think I was ever reckless. Like that was just never my way.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you're younger, man, and when you're coming up, when you're really, really good, all you think about is bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's all you think about. That's what it takes to be a good bodybuilder. That's what it takes to probably be a good anything.
Yeah.
When you just have a singular focus, it's what you eat, breathe, and sleep it. You're obsessed with it. You can't get it out of your mind. It's consuming, and that's what it takes to be really, really good. And
can I interrupt you for a second? Just as
of course.
I just thought of this. I got in a massive argument with Cedric and Ian and Ben. They all ganged up on me. All against you. They all ganged up on me one day on the podcast because I said, and it's come, ever since then, people just keep sending me clips of like David Goggins and like different people saying the same thing I said, which was the same thing you're saying, which is if you want to be the best at anything, whatever genre you're in, there is no such thing as balance. You are singularly focused on that thing and only that thing.
It's a nice thing. It's a nice idea to think about balance, and maybe you can't be so far out of whack that it's detrimental, but you're going to be out of whack. Yeah. Like it's the only way. Do you think, like, I don't know. When Bill Gates started Microsoft, was there balance in his life?
Yeah.
He was probably in his fucking garage till 4 a.m. That's not balance, but that produces greatness.
That's right. I want to touch on something you said, just because I wonder about it all the time. So you said you didn't like competing, and the funny thing,
I shouldn't say I didn't like it. I love training for it.
Yeah.
I love the process.
Yeah.
The dieting, the challenge, watching yourself transform. And I even came to like competing in the sense that, like the prejudging when you're doing actual, I never considered myself much of a showman.
I was just going to say, you're not an entertainer.
I'm not an entertainer, and I never got over the whole routine thing. I fucking hate it.
I think I remember one of your routines is really good though. When you actually tried to put one together, you did turn the page. I think it was.
Yeah.
Did you turn the page one year?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, that was good,
Yeah.
But you know, I like training. I like training. I like dieting. I like all that stuff. Choreographing stuff to music isn't really my shit, you know?
Yeah. Well, the reason I brought it up is because I've said that numerous times, is that like, I didn't really like competing. I just love training and the diet and the suffering and all that. Right. But now that, you know, I'm on the other side of it and I'm not really going to compete again, I'm like, wait a minute. I think I did, because I'm so, well, no, because I'm like, I'm still training hard. Like people message me all the time and they're like, why are you training so hard? You're not competing. And I'm like, I love to train hard.
Yeah.
And I'm still, you know, getting, like you said, I'm still getting in 5-6 meals a day and still pretty much on a diet. And there's only the one piece that's missing is, I don't know if it's actually being on stage. I mean, I do miss that, but I think it's having that end point where you're, because right now it's like you're training and eating in limbo. It's like, I'm doing it and it's fun. I love it, but there's no like end point to get to, right?
Yeah. There's no kind of goal in sight. There's no, and then, you know, even with all the pressure of competing and stuff, like there's like this build up.
Yeah.
And it's nerve wracking and it's obviously physically painful, but I don't know. I look, you know, I mean, the more I talk, the more I realize that to be a good bodybuilder, or I think good in a lot of sports,
yeah,
you have to be a little bit masochistic. Or at least, you know, even if you don't say, well, I love the pain, you at least make your peace with it and you learn to associate pain with progress.
Yep.
You know damn well that growth is a painful thing, and that if you're going to make progress and you're going to force, you know, new adaptations and make your body go where it hasn't gone before, there's going to be a lot of pain involved. So you at least learn to associate it with progress, and for that reason you embrace it and you like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving to career, I'm curious, because if this is the road that you're going down and you may compete, may not compete, I know you've developed Animal Meal with Animal and you're still with Animal.
Yeah. So I mean, I still feel that, you know, my relationship with Animal, there's still, I feel quite a bit left to do.
In what way?
Well, there's so much in the way of when I put stuff out, fans are still just, they want content, like quality content. And from me, they want certain things. And, you know, I mean, I'll be totally honest. I mean, I'm not good at creating content on my own. If you show up with a camera and you're like, Evan, go, I'll do it. Like, I'll do all of it.
Yeah.
And like, I'll do it pretty good. Yeah. Like I have ideas to share. I like talking in front of the camera. Like I like communicating. I like all that shit. But like I want to do it with them.
So you mean like creating content by yourself, like coming up with an idea, putting a camera in front of you and then starting. You don't.
No, because I'm not good at the idea. Like I'm not good at filming myself. Like I just want to get in front of a camera and go. Okay. I don't want to be like fucking with like, oh, does, you know, like stop 20 times to look and see if it looks right, and like like I know myself well enough to know I don't have the patience for that.
You know what that is? That means you're spoiled. Because no, this is why, because you were such a good bodybuilder. You came from the magazine era, and in those days when you were really good, you had a magazine contract and you didn't have to do anything. They would send the photographer to your gym, or they would send the videographer to your gym, and you didn't even have to do any of your own stuff. So it's your success has led you to this place now where it was all kind of set up for you.
I look at what's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
And I kind of despise the fact, to be totally honest, I despise the fact that so many people have been so forthcoming with the generation of their own content, because largely that's what did away with the magazines.
What do you mean? Explain that point.
Okay, so when you look at, if we go back, well, you know, because you were part of this era too, you experienced it.
Yeah.
We go back in time. It's 2008. It's 2009.
Yeah.
Muscle Tech has like a dozen athletes under contract.
Yeah, I was one of them.
They've got Jay and they've got Dexter and they've got
Cedric, they had Cedric and Seth and Johnny Jackson. They had everybody.
And even before that, it was guys like Aaron Madrin and like,
yep.
you know, this is like a really good era in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And it was a really good era because, well, number one, from my side or from our side, like we were getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay. And we weren't getting paid in fucking supplements. Okay. Or in like exposure, getting paid a paycheck. That's okay. Right. Like something you could take to the bank, literally and figuratively. And once companies realized that there were enough people out there who were just so starved for attention that they would do all this shit basically for free. I'm sorry, but I'm of the opinion it ruined it. It destroyed it. Like,
okay, but what people are you? Okay, so run that by me one by one, because what I saw was, I don't know if it's the people's fault or it's just the advent of social media becoming so popular, because people could then get their content online. So they're like, I'm not going to buy a magazine. So it became not profitable to sign athletes when all the athletes have their own Instagram page.
I think a lot of companies were just like, oh, this person has this many followers and we don't even really have to pay them anything. Yeah. Like they're willing to work for, I mean, look, dude, I did my first show in 2005. And long before I ever made any money in bodybuilding, I like this is going back. You remember ProSource?
Yeah.
Right. It was a pretty big online, like your mail order, you know, this was, they were pretty big.
Yeah.
They approached me to, like endorse a product. And, I was like, well, you know, first of all, send me some and let me try it. Let me see if it's any good.
Yeah.
I used it. I liked it. And I was like, yeah, I'll endorse it. But I'm like, they were like, yeah, you know, and like, you'll be in our ad. And I'm like, cool. I don't really care about being in your ad. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'll take a paycheck. Yeah. And they did. Yeah. And I figured, okay, for how you want to compensate me, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. But that's not most people. Most people are like, I'm going to be in an ad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't even, it could be the most bullshit product there is. I don't give a shit. Just
no, go ahead. Sorry.
Like, I'll do it for free and I don't even care if it's crap. Yeah. And I think that kills the industry.
My start was, I did stuff for free. And I think I did it for probably the first few years. I was 23. So I wasn't even at the national level yet. I was still like, you know, provincial or whatever.
I mean, from my perspective, if somebody said, well, I'm not going to pay you, I say, all right, fine. If it's not worth nothing to you, then it's not worth anything to you.
Yeah. See, for me, it wasn't about, I want to be in the ad, because I didn't care about that. For me, I thought if I put in my time, right, eventually they will pay me. Like, I just thought that's how the sport worked. I thought, okay, you're going to get in for supplements, and then you wait a year and then you renegotiate, get something better. And I just thought that was the nature of like how the levels went. Right. And then when I realized that wasn't the case, then I did what you did, which was I'm out. Right. And then Muscle Tech came calling and said, we're going to sign you. And I said, I'm not signing unless there's something concrete.
Absolutely.
But I had to learn on my own, like before. Right. So,
but you know, like, I think that was good. Look, when the magazines existed, I know, call me old fashioned, call me whatever you want. First of all, a magazine is a tangible item. Okay. You hold it in your hand and you can have it as long as you choose to keep it. It can be an ongoing resource. On top of that, it's filled with professionally written articles.
Yeah.
Okay. And professional photographer, like photographs, really good photographs. Now, to me, that's worth something. I feel like, okay, so you got rid of the magazines, you eliminate like the photographers, all think about the entire staff of what it takes to run a magazine. Yeah. All those people, their paychecks gone. Yeah. Me as a bodybuilder, you as a bodybuilder, not getting paid. The fans, okay, it was sold to the fans as, well, yeah, but now, like, all these guys are going to be putting out content for free and you have access to it. Okay, true, but it doesn't mean, number one, it doesn't mean it's good content. And there are some guys putting out great content, no doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know. Overall, I still think it was when we look at the very bottom line.
Yeah.
And you have to keep in mind too, as a fan, me, I'm calling myself a fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool, the thought of, well, you know what? I can write this guy a message, or I can comment on his photo. Maybe he'll respond to me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What does it do though? Like at the end of the day, think of how much less allure people have. Now, there was a time where you know, if so-and-so was coming to an event, say for a guest posing, or he's coming to give a seminar, you're like, oh, I'm going to go. I'll get to see the guy in person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll get an autograph. Maybe I get a picture with him. And it was a big deal. It was exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing's exciting now.
Well, I understand.
Is that good? I just feel like it's just been devalued, and I don't think it's good for anybody. I think there's a whole lot less excitement for the fans. Okay. And I think for the guys who are let's just call them the talent or the stars or whatever, sure. I think there's a whole lot less being generated for them. I think everybody lost is what I think.
That's such a grim.
I think it was one big fucking loser.
Such a grim outlook on the sports. All right, I'm going to give you the flip side because I see it differently.
Look, hold on. All
right.
It's like, okay, it's 1970 in the United States, and there's this whole new concept about outsourcing, right? Yeah. We're going to now start making products in China, yeah, or other countries where the reality is, because there's no environmental regulations and because labor costs pennies on the dollar. So this is the reality is, okay, we're going to go rape the environment somewhere else, yeah, and we're going to go pay other people bullshit money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And basically take advantage of them and exploit them. So yeah, we're going to make products really fucking cheap. Okay. And that's going to benefit you because now you're going to be able to buy toaster ovens and TVs and all this crap really cheap. Isn't that awesome? And everybody's like, that's so great.
But okay, so
but in the end,
I see your point.
Because look at what happens. Yeah, look at what happens. Yeah. It's shit.
I see your point. There are so
I'm telling you, it's a dive, and it's a downgrade in the standard of living.
I'm going to agree with you on the outsourcing aspect. I don't know if I can fully agree with you on the bodybuilding aspect. What I do agree with you on is there is definitely a level of prestige that you had when you showed up somewhere before social media existed.
And I think it was, and I don't think, and I know you're not saying it as like, oh, this prestige is great for me. Like no. I mean, like for the sport. Yeah. It's good. It's good all around. It creates excitement.
Yes. But on the flip side of that, and I'm not arguing either point. I think everybody has their own preference for what they like. And I did like the magazine era. I was part of it. I mean, it's great, but I'm also part of this era. So I kind of can see both sides. I feel like, and I don't want to say this just about the podcast, but I feel like because people have access to this show or to your Instagram, or they can hear you say things they would never hear you talk about in a magazine, right?
No, you're right. No, you are right.
So they connect. I feel like
it is true. That is true.
I feel like people now can look at bodybuilders when they're on a show where they talk for an hour and go, hey, that guy's kind of like me. I like him. Whereas before there was no connection because it was like this massive freak in a magazine that just eats and trains all day long. And I love him because he's huge, but I have no idea what his life is like.
All right. But let me ask you this. I'm not a sports fan.
Yeah.
Right. If I went to a baseball game or a football game or whatever, and I see an athlete doing things that I can't do, right? And I'm like, I'm not relating to that guy. I'm impressed by that guy because I can't do anything he does. There's a certain amount of prestige and allure to that. Now, if I start to look at him and I go, well, gee, he's just like me. Like, okay, it's cool. And maybe it allows me to decide if I like someone or not.
Yeah.
And all that. And that's cool. But I don't know. It's hard. It's a tough balance because at the same time, is it taking away from like, well, if I'm sitting there and go, well, he's just like me. Well, maybe I'm not as starstruck anymore, or I'm not that impressed.
But how do presidents get elected, right? It's relatability, right? So how do you grow a fan base? How do people like you? It's relatable. Why do people like Donald Trump? He talks like I talk. I love that guy, right? So it's like,
but I think too, there has to be, not that there has to be, but it's cool when there's a larger than life element,
a separation.
I mean, look, you've done the Arnold.
Yeah,
we've competed in the Arnold. I regret never going up to Arnold and asking him for a photo. I mean, if there's one person in the whole industry who I would like a photo with, it's Arnold.
Yeah.
And having competed in his show like half a dozen times, I kick myself now and I'm like, dickhead, why didn't you just ask him for a photo? Because I didn't want to bother him. When that dude walks in the room,
you can feel him.
Huge.
You could feel, it's funny. You could feel Arnold. Because I remember, just to touch on your point, I remember standing in the lineup. You stand in the lineup behind the curtain before you're about to walk out. I could like feel this energy coming from behind me. And all I saw was Arnold walk by me. And I'm like, there's seriously a presence about him that's fucking odd. And I'm not like this Arnold fan since I'm 5 or anything. It's just, he literally has a way about him.
You're like, he brushed me.
I seriously remember thinking that was Arnold. Like it's
fucking Arnold. Yeah, it's huge, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like that's a cool thing. Now, if I was comfortable enough with Arnold to be like, yo, Arnie, come over here. We're having sandwiches. Like
I see your point.
That's cool, but a lot was lost there. I don't know. It's a tough balance.
Okay, so I'll say this. I agree with you, but this is the only difference to me. In a football stadium, you have 80,000 fans watching. So there doesn't need to be any justification. Probably 40,000 of those guys played high school football. So they feel connected to the guys on the field anyway, right?
Yes.
A lot of people that even watch this podcast don't even bodybuild. They're just like, for some reason, I don't know why they watch a show. They're like, I'm not even a bodybuilder. It's like watching. So I think my point about it is the biggest show in bodybuilding has 5,000 seats in it. So it's like, the more people we can draw in, the more people we can connect with, the more people we can show that we're normal, the more people we can show that we have the same sense of humor. That makes
if you show people you're normal, and I agree with you because I like to be perceived as normal.
Yeah.
But again, if you're perceived as normal, does that, and maybe I'm totally wrong, I could be totally off base.
Yeah.
But does it not that it devalues it, but is it not as awe-inspiring? Like the thing that makes it awe-inspiring, like, oh my God, look at that guy.
Yeah.
He's so otherworldly and he's doing shit that I just could never do. And that just is what just blows your mind. It's tough. It's like you want that guy to be totally inhuman.
Yeah.
But then you want to be like, wow, we both drink the same beer. I don't know. Something.
Yeah. So you think that there's, to be awe-inspiring, there's a separation that has to be there. Because it's funny, this reminds
what separates awe-inspiring people from the general population.
But why do they still ask me for a photo then if they're not awe-inspired? Not that people, not now, but like if Ian's at the top of his game right now. If Ian walks into a room, people are still going to want to take a photo with him. People are still going to want his autograph, whatever. So because
he's awe-inspiring.
Yeah, but he's also very relatable because he's on here every week talking shit and like, you know what I mean? So I feel like it doesn't necessarily.
If he wasn't awe-inspiring, if he wasn't Ian, this a tremendous bodybuilder, would he be just another guy on a pod? I don't know. I don't know Ian well enough. So I don't even know. I couldn't even. You might be sitting there saying, yeah, dude, like he's really something.
No. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think if you are, say you're a bodybuilder, part of the draw is that you're this superhuman.
You're a freak.
Okay.
You're different.
Who does shit that other people can't do. Hence, you look unlike the rest of the population, and that's part of the draw. That's a large part of the draw. Now, if you're just some dude who's a fucking moron and has nothing good to say, yeah, it's not, you know,
yeah,
it's not so cool. But if you're like, you know, this incredible athlete, bodybuilder who's massive and crazy to look at, but you also have something to say, well, yeah, all the better, for sure.
So I think the two aren't mutually exclusive of each other. So
no.
So what I mean is so I think, and this is my own bias, of course, but I think this is breaking down barriers, because I think if you want to take the awe-inspiring side of things, where we're just in the magazine, nobody knows us, I think you're catering to this many people, right? There's like 2% of the population. I think if you start to become relatable and people can hear you, you're not any less awe-inspiring, but now you have 10% of the population or 5% of the population listening. So I feel like it's a good way to promote the lifestyle and show people that we're not fucking insane. Because
I agree.
Like I go home on the weekends for Sunday dinner, and my whole family's normal, right? They don't bodybuild or anything weird. And I get to hear the conversations, and I get to hear the way they talk about bodybuilding and talk about me, and they don't talk bad about me, but it's just a completely disconnected conversation, right? Like they don't get it. And I think I do see what you're saying. There's a prestige that we lost, but I think we made up for it in other ways. So but I do feel you. I know you like old school things. I know you like classic things. I know you like timeless things. The magazines are part of that draw. So I do get it.
I just, you know what, I'm a sucker for things being done in an official capacity, meaning like, okay, say you have two supplement companies, and this is one of the things that always really drew me to Animal/Universal.
Yeah.
They are an old company. I mean, they've been in business since 1977.
Yeah.
Now they do things very, I don't know how to put it other than to use the word that they're very official. Like they do, I don't know, like they're very thorough. They have the staff, they have the processes, you know, maybe also because they're their own manufacturer.
Yeah.
They're very buttoned up.
Yeah.
And like, I'm attracted to that, because I say that takes a lot to do that. I admire it. I'm impressed by it. Sure. I admire it. Versus, you know, you have other companies say, well, they're really just a marketing company. I don't know. Not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed too, and impressed by, and I'm drawn to official things.
You're drawn to substance.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people with flash. There's a lot of people with flash. You're drawn to substance and order. Like with a magazine, like you said, it's very official. On Instagram, I post whatever I want, whenever I want, how many times a day I want. I get it. It's like
we can post whatever we want. It could be the greatest photo. It kind of goes up in smoke.
Yes.
Versus, look, if we dig up a magazine, you and I, because, you know, we grew up in the same era. If we dig up a muscle mag from the 90s, and you're like, you know, we open like, oh my God, Zulag, his column. Yeah. And you remember Zulag?
No. Who's in the 90s? I wasn't following bodybuilding yet. I think I didn't buy my first magazine, I think, till 99.
Well, I worked at GNC. So they had Muscle Mag, Muscular Development, Flex.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I finished all the shit I was doing at work, like I put away, like if we got a shipment in and I put everything away and I like vacuumed the store and there was like no one in the store at the moment.
Yeah.
I would like pick up a magazine and I'd read them.
Yeah.
And, you know, Muscle Mag was the only one at the time where that dude Zulag or whatever the hell he called himself.
Why do I not remember Zulag? It sounds familiar, but I don't remember it.
He's the only one who would talk about steroids.
So that's the one you went to. You're like, let me go there first.
Well, yeah, it's like juicy, interesting shit.
Mysterious thing. Yeah.
Very mysterious. That's right. And it's, dude, back then, keep in mind, right? There's no internet. So like
Oh
you
no,
couldn't
yeah,
just Google stuff and, no one, dude, you're like a kid, in high school or college or whatever it is. And, your buddies don't know anything. Now everybody's an expert on everything.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
point being, it's a cool piece of nostalgia. If we dig up magazines from the 70s and we're like, man, look at this. It's still an item. It's a thing of substance.
Evan, let me ask you this. If you could get rid of the internet right now, you probably would, right?
No, because look, the internet has done amazing things. It's connected people. It's created so much industry. It's done a ton.
Yeah.
It truly has. I guess I'm just not always so easily not persuaded, but for me, new just for the sake of new isn't good.
I agree with that.
Just because something is new doesn't mean it's better.
Yeah.
I could show you. Well, I could show you the pyramids.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you. I think my thing is things are changing. What's the best? How can we get the best out of those things? Right.
I happen to be of the mind that there's a lot of great things that were done in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. And most people seem intent on reinventing the wheel or creating a new wheel. I think that most people would be best served if they just tried to improve the wheel. You don't need a new one. Like there's so much great stuff that was done that I think only needed like a little bit of improvement or a little bit of tweaking or whatever it was. Like, dude, do you realize that there are Electrolux vacuum cleaners from the 1950s that are still being used?
Yeah. My mom had one that was like 30 years old that she used. But just like, I think she just bought a new one like 10 years ago.
Dude, there's refrigerators from the 60s. People want them because they're still working. Like, what you have now is not an improvement. Like, you're going to buy a refrigerator and that thing's going to shit the bed in 10 years. That's not improvement.
Yeah.
It might look nice and it might have features that the one from the 60s didn't have, but it's not actually better. You believe it's better because you're told it's better, and it costs a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a lot of good things that were done in the past. I think people don't realize that. I think they're willing to throw things. Well, we are a throwaway society in so many ways. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't want to sound that way, like I'm stuck in the past or things like that. But
no, you don't, Evan. You always come off as I don't want to say just like in classic things. You're just not a trend person. You like timeless shit. That's kind of the way you've always come off. So it's not like you're stuck in the past.
I mean, I don't have a problem with throwing away shit that's no good or looking, and saying, okay, new is good in this regard. But where old is better, I don't have a problem accepting that either.
So you would probably be mad at me for my car buying habit.
Well,
it's a bad habit, dude.
I'm very practical. So maybe even cheap, probably cheap.
So it's practical. It's practical, just a nice way of saying you're cheap.
I mean, I drive a 20-year-old SUV.
But you buy like 6 lawnmowers a year. See?
What?
Everybody has their thing.
No, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Those lawnmowers, I could sell them for what I paid for them, if not more.
But do you, or do you just collect them?
Oh no, I just bought a new Skag, which I stole, by the way. Like I got it.
I don't know what a Skag is.
A Skag is a commercial lawnmower.
Okay.
It's one of those ones you actually stand up on it and you just you use the controls.
I gotta look.
I should make a video. It's pretty funny.
You should make a video. What's it? How do you spell it?
SCAG.
SCAG.
Skag V-Ride. Put in V-Ride.
V-Ride. Okay, let's see what this looks like.
It goes like 12 miles an hour.
Oh my God. We got to see Vito on this thing. Get your uncle on here. This is your fucking thing. You bought this?
Yeah. So see the guy standing on it?
Yeah. Right here?
Yeah, that's me.
That's it. Let me see if I can zoom in.
Oh my God, look, there's Evan cutting his grass. Dude, it's great.
That's pretty. So that's
do you know what that costs new?
No. What's it cost?
Take a guess.
I'm gonna say like 16 grand.
12,000.
Okay, I was a little over, but close.
Okay. I found one. It had 66 hours on it.
Okay.
That's like brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Not even a scratch on it.
Yeah.
Got it for $6
grand.
$6 grand.
Are you going to fix it? Are you going to fix it and sell it, or fix it and keep it?
No, I'm using it. I could probably use it for the next 5 years and still sell it for $6. That's my point. I like to try to just park money. Like, I have a gym in my house, right?
Yeah.
All that equipment, I could use it for 10 years. It's never going to be worth less than what I paid for it.
Yeah, I agree.
If I ever want my money back, I get my money back and more.
Yeah.
So my point being, if I was going to buy a new vehicle,
yeah,
right? Like, for me, there's no better vehicle on the road than the Toyota Land Cruiser.
Okay. It's a good.
You familiar with the Land Cruiser?
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't love it, but I love it. I don't love it, but I know what it is.
Very understated truck.
It is very understated.
There's no flash.
But it lasts forever. I know.
Fucking forever.
Forever.
And they're probably, those fuckers are like $100 grand new.
No, I don't think that. I think that much.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Look one up.
Okay.
They start at like 90.
Yeah.
They're big money.
Do you know the show Top Gear?
I do. Yeah.
It's a car show.
Yeah.
So they had a Toyota truck. I think it was a Tacoma. I don't know, or it might have been either a Tacoma or a fucking Tundra. I don't remember. Yeah. But they did everything to this thing to try and kill it. They couldn't kill it. They literally picked it up with one of those junkyard things that picks up cars and like dropped it from like 20 feet in the air. Then they just started up and drove away.
Bro, you could probably drain the oil, fill it with salad dressing, and drive it from New York to California.
Yeah, I believe it. But
after you drop it to the bottom of the Atlantic and fish it out.
Okay, but don't you have anything in your life that is like, see, maybe it's different for you because you have daughters, and you're like, you spend your time and your money on them. But do you have anything in your life, maybe before you had kids, that you're like, yeah, this is a waste of money, but I want it?
Not really.
No way.
Not really.
Is that a conscious thing, or you just don't have like a hobby like that?
I just hate losing. Like,
so you think you're losing?
I have to feel fulfilled.
But why do you think you're losing if the thing you bought is bringing you joy?
Because fuck my joy. It's not about joy. I get joy. Listen, I get joy. Like, I drive a car for like 5 years and then I sell it for what I paid for it. That brings me joy.
Okay, in my defense, the cars I'm getting rid of, especially now in this market, I'm actually getting more for that I paid for them. So I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Doesn't that feel great?
It feels good, but it feels better getting a new car and driving it.
Yeah.
We're not going to connect on this thing because cars are
no. Look, that is a very exciting thing. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Say I chose a vehicle that I know is going to take a massive dive, like a lot of the European cars.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah. After the first year,
they're beautiful. They're beautiful. There's no more pleasurable automobile to drive, whether it's an Audi, BMW, Mercedes. They're fucking top notch. They're beautiful. They're great to drive. They look excellent. Mm-hmm. Once that car has 100,000 miles, nobody wants to know it. Like,
oh, dude, it's not even that. Once it's like 2 years old, it's lost like $40,000 off the top.
Dude, it just literally turns to shit before your eyes. Like, most people, versus you could have like a Toyota 4Runner with like 150,000 miles.
Yeah.
And it could be if you compare, okay, like say a Toyota 4Runner, which is, it's a great truck.
Yeah, it is.
Totally capable.
I like those.
Good looking truck.
If it had a V8, I'd buy one.
What's that?
If it had a V8, I would buy one.
They don't make one with a V8?
Not that I know of. It's a 6.
The 4th generation ones had both a 4-liter V6 and a 4.8 liter V8.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. I guess point being though, like that car with 150,000 miles, you could sell in a heartbeat. Like, there's an ask for that seat yesterday and you're still getting top dollar. Like, I can't just, like, I have to feel like I'm making a smart choice.
Yeah, I think I was right. Wait, you're right. The 4th generation had a V8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not the new ones.
I was too young to want it then. That's the problem. So I always like these cars, but I like the 4Runner later on, probably 15, 16, 17.
Oh, I love those. Love them.
You like the older ones?
No, I like the 4th gen, but I like the 5th generation too. The new ones, they're great.
Yeah,
I love them.
because the 4th gen comes in a V8. I wanted a new one before I bought my last truck. They only came in a 6, and I just thought it was underpowered.
Yep.
But back to your point, I do know that thing 10 years old will sell. You'll get more money back out of it than a 10-year-old Beamer or Audi or anything.
And you're gonna pay more for the Beamer. So I have a hard time just feeling like I got raped. but maybe you would say, yeah, but I enjoyed it so much, so I don't feel that way.
Well, so it's like this. I'll tell you. So like the truck, right? So I got the TRX. It's not here yet, but it's like there's certain things in life that just give you joy.
What's the TRX? That's the Dodge you posted?
That truck I posted, yeah. So there's certain things that everybody has a thing. Apparently, yours is saving money. Everybody has a thing that they like to blow money on. So for me, it's cars and the excitement of waiting. First of all, the excitement of finding the car, then waiting for the car, then actually going to pick up the car, and then owning it, possibly modifying it, is all fucking really awesome to me. So it's like, it's almost worth,
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't sit here and call someone else foolish or say that's stupid or anything like that. Like,
no, I'm not asking you to justify. I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting conversation because people do this kind of thing all the time. And I'm like, is the money you lost worth the fun you had? That's the kind of,
when you're having the fun is worth it. I mean, like my dad only buys new cars, with the exception of I think tomorrow he's supposed to go pick it up. I think it's a 16 or 17 Vet. It's a Z06.
Nice.
With a Z07 package.
Your dad bought that?
Yeah.
That's my last car. I just got rid of that car like last year.
Oh, really?
I had a 17 Z06 with the Z07 package. Beautiful.
Really?
Yeah, I love that.
That's what he just, it's got like 4,000 miles on it.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, that car must be an animal. 650 horse, 650 torque.
It's absolutely incredible in every way. Anyway, so your dad's going to get one.
So he's going to, I was going to say he only buys new vehicles, with the exception of that. I mean, that's pretty much brand new.
Yeah.
So, but he just doesn't want someone else's used car. Like, that's the point he's at in his life.
Yeah.
And I respect that. But probably if you were to look at it and say, okay, over the last so many years, he's had X number of new vehicles. And if you add up what it's cost him, I would say, well, fuck, man, maybe you could have had a vacation home at that rate.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but it just depends. Me personally, I'd rather have the second property. But it's nice having a new car, man. That's a good feeling. That's nice.
No, when you put it that way, you're totally right. Because if you said to me 10 years ago, hey, you're going to own 10 new cars in the next 10 years, you're going to have a ton of fun with them, or you can have this one car and also get a fucking summer home in Florida or a cottage up north. Which one do you want? I'm very impulsive, so I probably still go with the cars. But I know which one the better deal is, right? So
yeah, I mean, look, I know the home is going to not only be worth what I paid for it, but that's going to go up in value. The car, I know, you drive it long enough, you own it long enough, it's eventually worth nothing.
Let me ask you.
You will have fun and you will enjoy it and you will feel good having it.
Let me ask you if this is crazy, because you're so, financially thrifty, I guess we'll call it. Is it crazy to think, I know I'm going to have this fun over here, and I know this kind of fun is going to cost me this much money, but I also know I still want the vacation home. So I'm going to work this much harder so I can still have this fun and make sure I still have the vacation home.
No, I give you total respect for that.
But is that with someone with your mind, is that saying, okay, well, you're still wasting that money? Or is that like, okay, that makes sense, you're doing right?
No, look, I think, well, in my mind, okay, before I would be at the point where I would maybe allow myself to have certain fun.
Sure.
I would have to have certain other things in order, because I wouldn't feel right about it.
Of course.
but no, like, I mean, I think it's all relative. I think there's a lot of people out there living maybe what I would consider living beyond their means.
True.
But I'm nobody to say. I mean, look, everybody lives this life and they live it once.
That's
Okay.
right.
And you ever see that video where like a person, like they zoom out from where the person is and then it zooms out to their state and the country and the world. And then it's like where you are in outer space and then where you are. Dude, eventually it zooms out so fucking far. Like it's the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
And then like it's the universe. Like, and you're like, dude, we're so fucking small. What are we even doing? Like,
Yeah.
I'm worried about, you know, my sneakers and like, I don't know, like these little things. And you're like,
Yeah.
not to sound cheesy, but you're like, I'm literally so inconsequential. Like the things I worry about are meaningless. They're totally meaningless. But I guess at the end of the day, the point is like you have one life, I think. You only get one shot at it. You should really truly live it how you want.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm the fucked up one being practical or
No.
you know, being this or that. But it's just kind of how I'm wired.
No, you're definitely not. My wife is like, you have a bad problem with this car thing. You need to figure it out. So like, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes trying to convince you that it's okay. So you can tell me it's okay. But
no, look, hey man, it all depends on what I think to anyone out there listening or to you, it's your life.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
You really should live it exactly how you want to.
Yeah, no, I feel
so long as you don't regret it, so long as you don't regret it later. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, my philosophy has always been, like you said earlier, you said, I like to make sure I have things in place. When things are in place, then I can do kind of what I want with whatever's left. So
right.
it's kind of always been my philosophy. And I've always also thought, and this may be lost on a lot of people, is if I want something, I just work harder for it. Like I just find a way to work harder for it. Because
yeah, I mean, I had this discussion with my daughter the other day. I forget how we got on the subject. But I was basically telling her, I'm like, Alana, you can literally have whatever you want in this life. If you're willing to work hard enough for it, if you have the, you know, if you've got good enough ideas, there's literally nothing that will stop you. You can, if you're willing to put in the time, you're willing to put in the work, and you've got the brains, you can have anything you want on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe to be true. I would never sit there and go, well, Alana, you know, you're a girl, so you're going to face certain obstacles. Fuck that. Why would I ever tell my kid that? No, I'm going to tell my kid, dude, whatever you want, whatever you've got the balls to go after, whatever you have the brains to conceive, you can make yours.
Sure. Okay, so now that we've covered everything but bodybuilding, you've been on for over an hour. Do you have more time? All right, let's cover the Arnolds. Before you go, let's cover the Arnolds, because that was kind of the main point of everything. But we haven't talked in a long time, so I just had to cover a lot, you know, just talk about life.
Skags.
How much do you still follow? Like I'm a huge fan of bodybuilding, right? No. Obviously I'm immersed in it, like, you know what I mean? But are you still a huge fan of bodybuilding, or you find yourself kind of missing out on the shows and what's happening? Or
well, not as much as when I was competing.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, I was kind of a bad fan of the sport. Now look, bad not in the sense like I know my history. Like you could show me photos and I'd be like, that's Roy Callender, and there's Cal Scalick, and like I'll name anybody. Like I know the history.
Yeah.
So I guess in that sense, I'm a studied fan of the sport. I know my history.
Sure.
But I was always kind of a shitty fan in the sense that like I wasn't the type of dude who would like buy VIP tickets to shows or buy bodybuilding DVDs or even have magazine subscriptions.
Yeah.
Probably again because going back to the fact that I'm just a cheap fuck. You know, and at the same time, always being so focused on my own bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think I think I don't know if that makes you a bad fan of the sport, because I think when you're in it, it's weird. Like, I don't know. I used to get magazines sent to me from the companies. I was like, when I was with Weeder, they would send me a magazine, or I don't know. I don't think like not having a subscription makes. I did buy a couple DVDs, but like, I guess I get what you're saying, but I don't
I
know
would
if I
say
consider that.
a good fan goes out and they support the sport, right?
They support the show and stuff. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
As
So
far as
now,
watching the shows though, were you ever a bigger fan then, and are you still now?
I never even when I was competing, I never watched them.
Like,
If I happened, how many times, dude, I worked, the Olympia or the Arnold, and didn't go to it. Like I was there.
did you check the pictures afterwards or the placing? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
must have cared.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, now sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I see stuff. I see guys. I say, wow, Hunter Labrada, he looks great.
Mhm.
Or Ian, Nick Walker.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a new crop of guys, and I say, wow, they look fantastic. They're very impressive.
Yeah. How do you feel about, before we get into the guys themselves, how do you feel about the whole guys are better? I don't want to get into the 90s, but even people now are saying guys were better in the 2000s. And I'm like, I don't know. It's hard to judge and compare eras. And I think these guys are fucking freaks. Do you ever do that kind of thing?
I mean, I watch the conversations or the debates, and I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean,
without seeing the guys next to each other, it's hard to compare.
It's literally impossible. And no, dude, I would never be like, oh, the guys were better here, better there, because I don't know, man. Like, you might take a guy from the 90s and put him on stage currently, and maybe they wouldn't shine as much as you think they would. I mean, I am. Maybe me personally, I'm partial to maybe the 90s, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, man, they would destroy everybody. But I mean, but then again, Dorian and I mean, Ronnie is just okay. Yeah. What are you going to say?
Nobody's going to say anything about Ronnie, I don't think, ever. Yeah,
that just is what it is. But I mean, I look at a guy like Kevin Levrone, who I hold really high.
Yeah,
Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, even Nasser, and those guys. Obviously, Flex Wheeler.
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about some legendary guys. What would they look like next to modern day guys? I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own theory, but I think those guys were incredible, but I think the look then was crisp and clean and not big. So I think if you stood a Flex Wheeler or, I don't want to name any names, but if you stood anybody from the 90s next to the guys now or in the 2000s, I feel like they would probably out condition them. Possibly.
I don't know. Look at a guy like Mike Francois.
Yeah. Yeah, but Mike Francois was what on stage? Like 245? That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, he looked like 285.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that's why you can't see them. You have to see them next to each other. Because like when I talk about Ian or you talk about James, conditioning is like their skin's like sandpaper. Like, I don't know how it gets any better, right? So to see them next to those guys would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, James, I mean, that's a great one. I mean, he just has gobs of muscle, and it's conditioned. And
have you seen his most recent photos before we get into the Arnold?
Yeah. I think
I just want to show this really quick because Patrick posted it this morning, his coach.
Oh.
And I cannot believe the change from year to year.
Massive.
Look at this. Look at the difference in balance. Like the legs, yes, they're bigger, but that wasn't a problem before. But I cannot believe the size on the arms and he squared off his chest and like his lats are thicker and like it's just crazy.
Everything's really round and everything is there.
It's funny because James talks about Caucasian dry and black shape, meaning that black guys always have the round muscle bellies.
Right.
And the white guys are always dry as fuck. But
I don't know. He's both round and dry.
That's what I'm saying. He's got both, right? Look at this shot. It's like the difference is nuts. And I wonder how much of it is posing, but you can tell obviously there's lots of muscle, but his posing is better too. It's just crazy.
Yeah, posing. I mean, James is easily, he might be my favorite person in the sport. I mean, he's such an awesome dude. Nicest guy. And it's not like, oh, he's just a nice guy, but he's, his physique is so. This dude is making like leaps and bounds every year. I mean, he eats, breathes, and sleeps bodybuilding, and he's a total gentleman on top of it. I mean, he's probably my favorite dude in the sport.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him at the Olympia, man. I think he's going to shock. After I saw these photos, I was, man, he's going to shake things up bad. So, because it's like, it's round, it's conditioned, and it's very complete.
Much respect to James.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the Arnold before you go.
Okay.
We got 11 guys. We're going to start. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with placing, or do you want to just go one guy? Okay.
That dude is really freaking good.
He's thick.
And he's big.
And he's round.
And thick. Look at him.
You're fucked.
But he's really got a balanced physique though, too.
Listen, this is what I was saying to you the last time we talked about him.
No, this is what I was saying to you.
No, I was saying he was thick and round and balanced.
That's what I said.
No, but in all seriousness,
if that dude brings the condition, he's really good.
That's what I think too. Yeah, he's
really good.
He's very complete, very round and thick,
and he's fucking big.
If you guys didn't watch the last podcast we did with me and Evan and Jay, go watch it and you'll get what we're laughing at. But
Look how balanced
yeah,
he is.
In all seriousness though, this is a really, really good physique. Everything's exactly where it needs to be.
That is a great physique.
Yeah. Only knock that I can remember, and I could be wrong, but is the hamstrings.
From behind, he tends to come in a little soft.
Yeah. Well, conditioning for sure. But I mean, the size of the hamstring, right? When you see a quad, his quads are really good. His hamstrings feel
look at that fucking side chest.
Yeah. Yeah. He's big.
And thick.
I wonder if he's going to come in shape. I mean, I think working with Neil and Flex is probably going to pay off.
I'd love to see him come in on, because I think he's really good, and I don't think he's come close to realizing his potential.
No, I agree with that. The last time I was hoping to see some really good things out of him. I think he did. What was the last show we saw? Texas or Tampa? I can't remember. And I was expecting some really big things out of him, but he came in a little off. So I'm hoping working with Flex and that is helping. So in this lineup, do you see him in the top 6?
Let's see.
We got William Bonac, Max Charles.
I bet you Kuklo comes in really good.
One second. I got Steve here. So this is Kuklo's most recent photo. Apparently, I heard
Kuklo just gets bigger and harder every year.
Well, he took second to Ian earlier in Texas. And I heard, and it was, I think, solely based on conditioning. I think Ian was a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So I heard, and judging by this photo is true, is he's down like another 5 pounds and bringing like a nasty condition. So
it looks pretty nasty right there.
Yeah. Like that's, I think that's the hardest I've ever seen Steve. I don't know how filtered this is or whatever, but like I haven't seen him. I don't think I've ever seen him look like that.
He looks real good.
So do you see, here's a side chest. Do you see Steve in the top 6?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. That's what I thought. I just need to clarify before I write these things down.
I mean, let's have a look here. I mean, I'd probably say I think he's a definite for top 3.
Okay. I'm not gonna write him down yet till we get to the final spot. So we got William. I think this is his most recent guest posing. I think this was like last week or something like that. Oh no, this is 4 weeks out.
I mean, dude, you can't underestimate him, because the dude, the muscle he packs, and I mean, if you look at his competitive history, I mean, he's automatically a top 3 contender.
A lot of people have him as a favorite winning the show.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah. I mean, look, he's the most proven out of any guy in that lineup. I mean, he's placed the highest out of anyone there.
Yeah, he's definitely the most
historically
seasoned.
speaking. On paper, he's the best bodybuilder in that show.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be hard for people to overcome the thickness, the detail. Very complete. Okay. So you have him as a favorite, and we have Ian, who looks like he's in better condition. He gets better and better with each show.
Yep.
This guy's got that like Dorian Yates kind of gnarliness to his muscle, and I think
sure.
I think it's hard to show through. From everything I've heard from anybody who's at a show with him competing, it's hard to see it in photos.
I'm sure.
Like whatever, basically what they're saying is, what I've heard is whatever you see here is like 10% better.
Right.
Which is crazy to think, because I mean, like his back is fucking striated, everything's striated all the way through.
Right. I mean, I'd say there's no reason he shouldn't be in that top 5.
Okay.
But could be as high as top 3.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to leave Steve, Ian aside. We have Nick Walker, is the new breed, the youngest gun in the sport. Won the New York Pro earlier this year. This is what he looks like now. He looks sharper to me in these photos than he did on stage in New York.
Yep.
So I don't know, like, to me, this is really impressive.
Yeah.
Like this is him in New York, and he already looks better. So I'm like, what's he bringing? Right. Like this here, I'll give you some full context.
I mean, it's so hard when you see guys by themselves. I mean, look, based purely on his competitive record and the way that he's been improving, Nick could win the freaking show.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I said this to James and Nathan. We were talking about it. And I said, so everybody has Bonac winning, and Bonac's formula is the short, most heavily muscled, compact, like he's detail, all that. And I'm like, doesn't Nick kind of fit that same mold?
Yeah. Yes. Like they're different, but yes, they are technically both short and heavily muscled.
They both have a little bit thicker midsection, not thick in a bad way, but like it's not like a tiny little waist.
Look, Bonac, I know because I've competed against them, and then I've seen him going on to do even better. Bonac can be really, really hard to beat.
Yeah. yeah, I agree. I mean, the guy's been he's been what's the top? He's been third at the Olympia. Is his highest placing?
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we have Nick? Top 3 or top 5? Top 6, top 8? Where do you think?
See, I hate even saying it because I think Nick could possibly win it, but top 3 to top 5 for sure. Could he be top 3? Could win it. I don't know. I need to write these guys down.
So you're having the same problem we all have when we start doing this.
Yeah.
Because I've tried to do this on like 4 different shows now.
And who do we got?
Here, let me share my screen again for you.
Max Charles, William Bonac,
Sung Cho Lee, Mohamed El Amam, Steve Kuklo, Hassan Mustafa, Sergio, Justin Rodriguez, Ian, Nick, and Akeem. Forgot about Akeem. Look at this. Freak.
Give me a couple of who did I miss in that list again? Yeah, Akeem's a freak.
Akeem, Nick, Ian, Justin, Sergio,
Ian, Nick.
Akeem was the last one.
Nick, Akeem.
That's it. That's the last one.
Okay, I got everybody.
Okay, you got everybody?
I got him.
Don't forget Justin Rodriguez. He was 9th at the Olympia last year.
I got him right here, Justin.
We'll throw him in the mix. That'll make it even harder.
Yep. William.
I'm gonna say
William is gonna win. I got William in first.
Okay, Bonac winning. All right.
Yep.
Who's two?
Two.
Akeem. If we're going by records, Akeem has the highest placing next.
Really?
Yeah, he was 5th at the Olympia last year. No. Sorry, Bonac was 5th. Akeem was 6th. Ian was 7th.
Akeem's working with Justin Miller.
I'm not sure. I heard something about the O2 crew. I heard something he left one coach, went to another. I don't know who he's working with, so I don't want to
change up the coach.
Yeah, I guess he changed it up.
I don't know. I mean, that could be highly variable.
Yeah, it could be better, could be worse.
Right. I'm gonna say in second is going to be Nick. No, I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm gonna say Steve Kuklo.
Steve, okay.
Yep, and then Nick.
3, Nick. Okay.
I hate doing this because I feel like guys watching and be like, "Fuck you." Evan.
Oh yeah, I've lost a lot of friends since I started.
And obviously anybody who hears this, dude, like Nick could totally win it. Like,
well, this is what I tell everybody about this show. I tell them not to get mad because I'm like, literally, the guy I put in 7th could easily win.
Yeah, and dude, like absolutely.
If you put Sergio in 5th, Sergio could win the show.
Yeah, and then Sergio's gonna be like, "You had me in 5th. Go fuck yourself." Sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good.
Fucking phone died.
All right. So we're back and your phone died, and this is how smart I am. I messaged you and I said, Is your phone dead?
Yep. And see, it's a fucked up because usually I would just plug it in, right? But
yeah,
I went in the ocean with it in my pocket.
Yeah. Oh, and you can't plug it in until it's dry.
That was like 2 months ago.
Oh, it's still fucked up. Did you try? It still
has the water droplet thing on it. So if I plug it in, it like goes nuts. So I have to charge it on like one of those, like the wireless charger things.
The cradle, yeah. Did you try the rice trick where you put it in a bowl of rice?
Dude, I tried the rice trick. I took my fucking air compressor. I tried blowing it out, like everything.
Nothing works.
Nothing.
And you don't want to get a new phone because you're too thrifty.
I just bought it.
You didn't spring for Apple Care, did you?
I have insurance.
Okay.
But I've had a phone replaced before using insurance. And dude, like it was fucked up. Like I would talk to people and they'd be like, when you talk, it echoes. I don't know. Like, because they don't send you a new phone. They send you a fucking refurbished
It's a refurbished one. Yeah. 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 It's kind of shit. All right. So I'm glad I got you back. Let's wrap this up because we've been on for quite a while. And okay, I'm sorry.
No. Okay. So 4th. I'm gonna put Akeem in 4th.
Akeem, the big man, 4th.
Big man. I'm gonna put Justin in 5th.
Really? Justin ahead of Sergio? That's okay.
No. You're right. Sergio, then Justin. Justin always seems to do well, though.
That's why I don't want to skew your opinion. I think Justin's great. I mean, Justin almost beat Ian.
Places well.
Yeah, I mean.
But so does Sergio, and I'm sure Sergio's improved.
Yes.
But now Ian's getting pushed out, and I think Ian's better than 6th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's really hard. This is like really hard.
It's really hard. Somebody said to me on the last podcast in the comments section, they're like, "It's not that hard, bro. Just put them in order." And I'm like, "It's actually very hard because
it's really hard.
Because any one of these guys, like, I think anybody who's doing kind of predictions is guessing at this point."
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not hard. You get your own fucking podcast and put them in order, pal.
Okay. All right. So you got 5th. You have Ian. Sergio.
I got Sergio in 5th, Justin in 6th.
Sergio in 5th.
Justin 7th. But I have a hard time.
Remember Ian beat Justin twice last year.
Okay. Ian's in 6th, ahead of Justin.
And then if we're going to play that game, Ian beat Steve a month ago.
No, I think Kuklo is going to do great.
Okay. So 7th, we have Justin.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have to do the rest. Yeah, there's like 4 guys left.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your top 7.
You know, and honestly, dude, any of those dudes can, you know, do.
Let me ask you this honest question, because I know how much how high of esteem you hold Bonac in. Is there anybody that can beat William if he's 100%?
If he's 100%,
if he's full and peeled, and he's not, because I know William before has come in like a little flat and then he looks off, or he's coming too full.
No, if he's on, no way.
Nobody, right?
I don't think so. When that dude is on, he's a lot to handle.
Yeah, I think when I did my predictions, I'm thinking that maybe Bonac's getting a little bit older, so that might leave the door open a little bit, but that's, but at 100%, I think I might have to agree with you on that one. He's just a crazy physique.
And Nick is doing extremely well every time out. I mean, Nick could take that top spot. It's really tough.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't really, I just want to get you on to shoot the shit, which was basically what we did for an hour and a half.
You think my predictions are crap? What you're saying.
I think everybody's predictions are crap. There's no fucking way to predict anything. Yeah. I literally think everybody is fucking guessing, because you can't, like you said, other than William, there isn't anybody who's really above anybody. Sergio's been out for almost 2 years, or a year and a half at least. So who knows how much muscle he's put on. Nick gets better with every show. So who knows what he's going to look like standing next to Bonac. Ian gets better every fucking time he steps out. It's like, if Akeem gets a little bit drier, Akeem could win the show.
Yeah.
Akeem's only knock is that his back sometimes is a little soft. If he somehow figured out that formula, Akeem could beat Bonac.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then there's Kuklo, who's got like a beautiful physique. He's not lacking any fucking, he's got no weak points. And if he's harder than
big as fuck, and he looks shredded.
Yeah. So
I think Steve's going to do really well.
I hope he does. I that's the problem, is I like all these guys. So it's like, I hope they all do well. Right. So
and that's the thing, dude, like being a bodybuilder, it's not like I'm just like a critic, but being a bodybuilder myself, like I look at all these guys and I think they're all tremendous and I respect all of them. That's why I hate doing this, because oh, you're putting someone in 5th, you're putting someone in 6th, and knowing the variability too, how bodybuilding goes, man. Yeah. It's kind of anybody's, it's anybody's show too.
Well, especially with a group this tight, it's like whoever peaks the best could be the one who walks away with it, right?
Right.
So, and I don't, I know you don't love doing these things, and I think the reason I got you on is because there isn't really a right answer, so I figured no one's going to be upset.
Yeah.
But I'm sure somebody will be upset.
Please don't anyone be upset with me.
Okay, I'll cut that part out and I'll put it on my Instagram just so people know, just so everybody sees it, just in case the guys don't watch the podcast. Evan, awesome time talking to you, man. It just feels like I'm talking to a buddy. It doesn't feel like a podcast, but I'm happy you came on. I'm glad we got a chance to shoot the shit.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry my phone died. No. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
It's always great talking to you. I mean, you're one of my longtime friends in this sport.
Yeah.
I mean, we go back a while now at this point, and you're really one of my favorite people, and I appreciate you having me, and just, you're doing a great job with everything you have going on. This podcast, all the content you create, your supplement company. I mean, much respect and just awesome work.
Thank you. Oh, before you go, do you want to have a cook-off?
A cook-off?
I can't cook for shit, but I see you
cook. I'll cook you under the table.
Because, listen, I'm thinking about starting a new series, and I probably shouldn't put this out in public because someone's going to go fucking do it, but we'll do it better. I'm thinking about starting a new series where I have like a podcast set up, but it's a cook-off. Does that make sense?
So
I call you on Zoom,
yeah.
Right? But you're in your kitchen, and we decide. I pick the dish, whether it's chicken and rice, pasta, meatballs, whatever it is, right? Based on the guest, I'll pick the food I think that suits that person.
So what would my food be?
Well, you're Italian, so I'd probably pick like a pasta dish of some sort. But you're a little more complex, so it wouldn't be like spaghetti meatballs. It might be like a calzone or something.
I want to go through. Okay, so we had the top 3. I want you to tell me their dishes.
Okay.
William Bonac, what's his dish?
Oh fuck, where's he from? Trinidad?
Maybe something Caribbean.
Yeah, like
I'm not totally sure.
I don't know anything like jerk chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Kuklo, barbecue.
I was gonna say ribs. Ribs. Yeah.
Mick Walker.
I want to say something Italian, but I can't just make everybody Italian.
Wait, is he Italian?
Yeah, he's Italian.
Okay.
So I'm thinking like, but with Nick, I'm thinking like something hearty, like a big burger or maybe a prime rib or something.
Something like very American.
Yeah. Something.
I mean, he has the all American look.
Yeah, I think I'd do something like a big fat steak.
What's Ian's dish? I ask you, Ian, because I know you guys are close.
He likes charcuterie boards.
Really?
It's his favorite thing. So we're on the podcast. See, this is why the podcast is so important. So we're all shooting the shit, and we're like, "What's your favorite cheat meal?" And he's like, "I like a good charcuterie board." I'm like, "You're fucked. You're so."
Shut up.
I'm like, that sounds like Lunchables to me, but whatever. I'm like,
cool. It's the charcuterie for me.
Yeah. He likes the deli meats.
When it comes time for him to refeed or have a cheat, that's what he does. He assembles a mean charcuterie board.
That's what, yeah. That's what he said.
I like it. No, it's cool. That's actually cool.
It's different. Yeah. You don't ever hear anybody go, everybody says pizza or fucking burgers or something. Yeah.
Never heard charcuterie board, and I dig it.
I don't know how we cook that though on the show. Like it just really just placing things on a platter. You're not cooking anything. It's who can maybe make the platter look the best.
Don't go downplaying it.
Well, what do you think of my new show? You think it's a good idea?
I think it's actually a great idea.
I think it serves a whole bunch of purposes. The most popular videos on my channel are cooking stuff that I did.
Absolutely.
The same with you, I think. I'm sure.
Hands down. Like I don't want to talk training and stuff, and training is great.
Yeah.
But on camera, I want to cook stuff and talk food.
The problem is you're going to cook something really complex, and it's going to be like an actual chef, and I'm just going to throw like a burger patty in a frying pan.
As long as it's from the heart.
There's no heart in my food, man. There's enough cooking just to get it onto the plate so I can eat it and then go train.
What is your absolute? Well, what about with your background? Is there something like your mom used to make, or
I can't
something like? What is your absolute favorite thing?
My mom cooks with love. You can't cook with that. Nobody can make that kind of food. That's specific to her, right?
That's Persian food.
Arabic food. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different. There's a lot of rice and beans and ground beef and stuff, and it's very. I think there's a reason why Middle Eastern guys are thick. There's like a very heavily dense like food, right? So
I think probably the best genetics comes from that group of guys.
I think it's the food, though, to be honest.
And the food, listen, I was in Dubai a few years ago. I've never had better food anywhere.
Yeah.
That I've been. I was so impressed. Not only in terms of just enjoying it, but just even obviously everything I eat, I have just a habit of looking through it as the lens as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect food in every way. Perfect.
For bodybuilding. Yeah. It's got everything.
But also even as it's a pleasurable experience as well. I just think it's the best food on the planet.
Well, sometimes when I want to cheat and I don't want to get like sloppy cheat, I'll just order Arabic foods, usually kebabs and kebabs and a pita and some rice or something with lentils in it.
Yeah.
So it's like all very heavy, dense macros.
Beautiful food, though.
Yeah,
beautiful food.
So what do you think of my new show? Are you in?
Dude, I will be your first. If you do it, I will be your first. I'll be first in line to participate.
Are we going to make calzones?
If you want me to make a calzone, I will make a calzone.
Is that what your food would be? Did I guess it right? Would it be a calzone?
No, I make a mean seafood dish.
I was going to say fish next. There's one time I remember this story. I just thought of this before you came on. We were at one of the athletes meetings, And I usually don't eat at the athletes meetings. So I'm usually sweating already and I don't want to sweat more. So I would like eat before I got there and eat when I left. I think you were sitting next to me or you're sitting in front of me. And
is this an Arnold? Was it Arnold or
it was probably an Arnold, yeah. And I remember you opened your Tupperware and you had this very nice rice with like a very flaky looking fish, like resting on top with like a little bit of parsley or cilantro or whatever was on it. And then you even had like a lemon sliced and like placed on top. I'm looking at your food. I'm like, man, my food looks like shit compared to that guy's food. So I was going to say seafood. I was going to say like a sea bass or something.
No, dude, like it's just like, I mean, I guess maybe technically if from an Italian perspective, right? Zuppa de pesce. So, all different stuff, clams, mussels, shrimp, scallops.
Yeah, but now you lost me. It's got to be something I can make too.
Oh, dude, I mean, anybody could make it. Like, this is like, you could be brainless and make this.
So I gotta have to research your dish and master it before we do the show.
You would have to do it?
Yeah, because I want to win. I don't want your dish to look
better
than
you
mine.
Make it too?
Yeah, that's the show. Is I
Oh, you already lost. You'll never beat me at that.
You didn't get the concept of the show. It's just what we're doing right now, except we're both.
I didn't know we're both partaking. I thought like I'm explaining it. Maybe you're commentating.
That's boring. You're cooking and I'm cooking, and then we're going to present the dishes to the audience at the end.
Is this timed?
Yeah, that's one of the. Well, it doesn't. This is one of the things, right? Because bodybuilding is about speed too. So if you take an hour to cook your, like I talked to Guy about it. Guy was like, "I'm going to make some fresh pasta sauce." I'm like, "You're going to be there for 2 hours." I'm like, I'm just going to pour whatever out of a jar. I'll be done in 10 minutes. So the speed is a part of the category, right?
But who's going to judge this though?
We'll have a judge. We'll figure out a judge. I didn't figure out that part. I thought the audience
single judge or a panel.
Well, I thought the audience would judge in the comments section. Right?
Yeah, dude, I'd crush you.
I've seen your cooking. I know. I don't. I'll pick something that I can cook well, and then we'll do it.
Okay.
Evan,
whatever it is, I will do it.
Is there anything you're not good at cooking?
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of things I'm not. Like if you were like, Evan, I want you to prepare a beef Wellington. I wouldn't know how to do that. Are
you into cooking? Like, is there a specific food you're into cooking, or are you just into cooking period? Like you cook everything?
I mean, it's been a while since maybe I cooked something new, but yeah. I mean, I'm open to anything. Yeah. Like, look, dude, there's probably nothing that really, like if it was something really technical, like a souffle or something, yeah, I'd be intimidated.
Yeah. What about baking?
Most things don't scare me.
Do you bake?
I do not bake.
Yeah, I was going to say that's usually a different category.
And you would think that would appeal to kind of my more like meticulous nature because it's all very measured and whatever. But when I cook, I mean, I'm freestyling. So yeah. I mean,
it's also not something you're going to eat. So maybe that's why you're not as interested. Like you're not going to eat a cake every day. You know what I mean? Like
true.
Right. True. All right. Well, I'll hash out the details.
Well, yeah, dude, whatever it is, whatever you come to, I'm in. I love this. It totally appeals to me.
Okay. I'll figure it out. We'll get it done. Evan, until then, thanks for coming on, man. I really, really appreciate it. It was good talking to you.
All right, bro. Great talking. I'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy, man.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and like the video. And if you get a chance, check out the description for all the different links to all the different places you can find Hostile and myself. And lastly, check out hostile.com for our new line of supplements and all of our apparel and gear. Thanks again for watching.